There's a resignation letter in Nisha's drafts. She's edited it 11 times. She wrote the first version 14 months ago. The spreadsheet's full of pros and cons, 3 pages long. Every comma in that letter is perfect, and every single morning she opens the same laptop and does the job that she's been quitting in her head for over a year. People will call that laziness, but it's the exact opposite. The person frozen on a decision is running more simulations than the person who just acts. More scenarios, more risk models, more 3 a.m. rehearsals of conversations that never happen. They're working harder than everyone around them, but none of it leaves their head. And the people who do this worst aren't the careless ones. They're the bright, responsible, top of the class ones, because more intelligence means more branches that you can see, more ways that it could break, more reasons to wait. Your own mind builds the cage, one clever objection at a time. You've noticed this too. You research the perfect laptop for 6 months and then buy one in 15 minutes the day the old screen cracks. Your career, your city, your relationship, it's the exact same loop, the same freeze. Except those screens don't crack on their own. And while you stand there weighing, the options quietly leave the room without you. The role gets filled, the person you know you should have called has moved on. The plan that fit so perfectly last year stops fitting this one. You think you're keeping your options open, but the options don't sit around waiting for you. If you grew up Indian, you're not even the only one standing at the table. It's ringed by a panel. Parents, the neighborhood uncles and aunties, the whole extended family. You can almost hear the gears turning as they scrutinize every move. And the stakes never feel small. After all, you were raised on single-shot exams, where one wrong answer was supposed to rewrite your whole life. There's no unemployment check waiting to catch you if you fall. So what do? You stall. And if you move countries, the panel just follows you via video call. This time with a visa now stapled to every decision. And the longer the wait, the more the freeze disguises itself as wisdom. At first, it's being thorough. Then it's the wrong time. But by the time a year has passed, it's hardened into who you are. You've become the person who's always about to do something, but never does. And this costs you in a way nobody warns you about. Nisha thinks that she hasn't decided yet, but she has. 14 months in that job is a 14-month decision to stay. I am still thinking about it is the most expensive sentence you own, because you renew it every single day and never once count the bill. Every day you don't choose, you've already chosen. You just don't get a receipt for it. This paralysis has a home, and it's not some boardroom. It's your bed at 2 in the morning. The blue light of a phone on your face, every option Googled twice, every outcome rehearsed in high definition. The new job, the breakup, the move, the course. You type the message and delete it. You open the form and close the tab. You decide, then undecide before your feet ever hit the floor. And in the morning, nothing has moved except time. That bed is the real battlefield. You lose there every night, quietly, and call it a rest. That word, battlefield, is not an accident. Because 5,000 years ago, someone sat exactly as stuck as Nisha at that laptop. Except his unsent decision was a war that he couldn't start. His name was Arjuna. He told Krishna that his own mind was like the wind, restless, turbulent, impossible to hold. And Krishna doesn't say nonsense, just decide, all you need to do is get started. He says, you are right. The mind is restless and very hard to restrain. But by practice and by letting go, it can be steadied. God, sitting right beside him, agrees that the mind is almost impossible to control. I'm sure nobody who ever gave you advice has said that. Then 2 instructions, practice and release. Practice means small, repeated, imperfect actions. That's the one thing that Nisha hasn't done once in all this time. She's been practicing hard, of course, but just at the wrong thing. She's practicing overthinking. 11 drafts is 11 reps at the wrong motion. So the cure is almost insultingly small. And no, this isn't the 1,000th voice telling you to just start. Because that advice assumes that the problem is the task, but it's not. What you've been really protecting all these months is the version of you who hasn't tried and failed yet. The planning keeps that version of you safe. One small rep does a single job. It stacks evidence against the story that you're somebody who can't move. So send that one email, open the form, make the call that you scripted 9 times. The email getting a reply isn't even the point. The point is to put a crack in the story that you can't move. Arjun never gets a guarantee. He picks the bow back up and moves inside the same uncertainty that he started in. Not a better plan, a first step taken without one. You have done the thinking, months of it. The analysis stopped protecting you long ago. It's the cage now, and one that you've built. Which means that you're also the person holding the key. How many drafts has your resignation letter had? Or your application, your message, the conversation you keep rehearsing? Name it in the comments. That's your first step. If this video put words to something you've been holding in, that's what this channel is for. Like the video so it reaches the next person lying awake at 2 a.m. and subscribe for more videos like this. My name is Arjun, and I'll see you in the next one.